It's 5 p.m. here in Lagos, Nigeria, and the final edition for the week. I'm Joker Rogers. Here's what's coming up on the world today. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris pledges a new way forward for all Americans as she accepts the Democratic nomination for president. 7 killed, dozens others injured following a hotel fire in the southern Korean city of Bucheon. Plus, bodies of all 6 missing people recovered from Sicily after a luxury super yacht sank on Monday. Let's get right into it. The 2024 Democratic National Convention has wrapped up in Chicago, Illinois. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has accepted the Democratic nomination for president on the final night of the party convention. During her headline speech, Ms. Harris pledged a new way forward for all Americans, also vowing to create an opportunity economy. The 59-year-old also took a swing at former President Donald Trump and his criminal trial, urging voters to reject him.
Direct quote. On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flame. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it. In his words, quote, "I did it and I'm proud to have done it," end quote. As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law. I know we can live up to our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system. We can create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border.
But also speaking at the just concluded convention were U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren, Mark Kelly, and civil rights activist Al Sharpton. The Democrats praised Ms. Harris' tough critique of Donald Trump's economic plans. They also compared the positions of Vice President Harris and that of Mr. Trump, saying she's the best fit for the White House.
Thank you. Trump was how he couldn't get in it.
Kamala Harris can't be bought, and she can't be bossed around. Kamala Harris stepped up. She enforced the law, she fought the giant banks, and she delivered billions of dollars of help for families. And that is the difference between a criminal and a prosecutor. We need to make life more affordable for working people. Yeah. Donald Trump, the felon, has no plans to lower costs for families. Trust Donald Trump and JD Vance to look out for your family? Shoot, I wouldn't let those guys, I wouldn't trust them to move my couch.
On one side of this race is Donald Trump, a fellow New Yorker I've known for 40 years. Only once in that time did he take a position on racial issues. He spent a small fortune on full-page ads calling for the execution of 5 innocent young teenagers. Kamala Harris spoke to me that day about unity and passing bills. All I ever heard from Donald Trump was how he could get an advantage. I see a candidate who, with Joe Biden, brought leaders to the White House to confront violent hatred, running against a man who said neo-Nazis in Charlottesville were fine people. I see a candidate who has sought to reform and uphold the law, and a man who wrongly assumes his mugshot appeals to Black Americans. United States.
Today, Vladimir Putin is testing whether we're still that strong. Iran, North Korea, and especially China watch closely. What's Trump's answer? He invited Russia to do, and these are his words, not mine, whatever the hell they want. Vice President Harris has always championed America's support for NATO, for Ukraine, and for the Ukrainian people.
To other stories now, a sixth body has been found after a luxury yacht sank off the coast of Sicily earlier this week. According to officials, divers recovered the body of what is believed to be Hannah Lynch, the daughter of British tech entrepreneur Michael Lynch. Mourners have since been paying tribute to the 18-year-old. Hannah was the last person accounted for after the luxury super yacht sank during a bad storm off the Italian fishing village of Porticello on Monday. A total of 15 people survived, including a 1-year-old child and Hannah's mother, Angela Baccaris. However, the deadly incident claimed 7 lives. And another tragedy. 7 people have been killed and a dozen others injured after a fire broke out at a hotel in the South Korean city of Bucheon. 2 people who tried to jump out of the windows onto an air mattress provided by the fire department died after the mattress flipped. Other victims were found in rooms on the 8th floor. According to authorities, the fire is believed to have started because of an electrical fault. Although the fire did not spread throughout the building, the damage was extensive as the rooms were not equipped with sprinklers. Police are investigating whether the hotel's managers were in any way negligent. And to another disaster, but this time in Nepal, where a passenger bus has plunged into a river, killing at least 14 people. According to reports, the bus carrying passengers from India was set to be traveling to Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. Around 40 people were on the bus at the time of the incident. Rescue operations are underway on the bank of the Masiyakti River. Authorities are investigating the cause of the accident and the identities of the victims involved. And a quick check on the weather. At least 11 people have died following heavy flooding in India's Agartala city. The floods caused by torrential rainfall also forced thousands to evacuate their homes. Roads and commercial properties have been submerged as some residents turned to boats as a means of transportation. According to officials, about 800 houses are flooded. Homeowners also find it difficult to find food and water. Approximately 34,100 people were told to flee their homes due to the flooding. Semiconductors are key components of most electronics nowadays, be it laptops, phones, or washing machines, but manufacturing of the parts is mostly concentrated in Asia. This week, the world's largest chip maker broke ground on its first European factory in Germany. Here to speak to us about this story is Mattis Richmond in Berlin. Mattis, to get us started, why are these semiconductors plants so important?
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned it. Semiconductors sit in pretty much every piece of electronics nowadays. But what's especially important here in Germany is the car industry. And there's just a plethora of semiconductors in a car, from the more sophisticated things like in control panels for the interface or for the GPS, to simpler chips that basically turn on the power for automatic window openers. But with the increased production of electric vehicles, the number of chips per car increases, with some estimates putting them towards 3,000 semiconductors per electric vehicle. Especially with the supply chain disruptions during the COVID lockdowns, the German car industry struggled to get enough chips components into the country because production is mostly concentrated abroad in Asia, especially Taiwan. And that experience and the tenser geopolitical situation with the looming East-West confrontation gave rise to the European Union's Chips Act that earmarks around 43 billion euros to double chip-making capacity in the continent by 2030, and thus decrease dependence on other countries. And now, the first of these projects are being approved.
And on Tuesday, Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSMC broke ground on a factory in Dresden in Germany. What's so important about that area?
Yeah, I mean, some of your viewers may know Dresden as a beautiful old city in eastern Germany that was heavily bombarded during World War II. And since then, it's come a long way. Now, some speak of the region as Silicon Saxony because it's been active in the chips engineering space for decades. Bosch, a machine maker and key supplier for the car industry, already runs a semiconductor fab in Dresden, and they're now a junior partner in the joint venture building TSMC's plant there. So there's already a lot of know-how in the area that can make the production happen. The fab will further partner with Dresden University to train skilled workers early. But what was most likely more important for the final decision-making for Dresden is the enormous amounts of subsidies the plant will receive. The German government will contribute up to 5 billion euros to the total of 11 billion construction costs. The funds now being approved by the European Commission under this CHIPS Act. And that makes Germany one of the clear winners of this industrial policy, because with a bigger budget, Germany has been able to draw in a couple more investments.
And Mattis, with this much effort put into drawing production to Europe, how significant are these new investments?
Yeah, so it's indeed a multiple investments. So the TSMC plant broke ground on Tuesday, and the US company Intel announced a 30 billion euro plan to build 2 chip-making plants in Germany as well. So there's a lot of movement in this space and a lot of money pouring in. And with so much production planned to be moved here, that's expected to improve resilience in the supply chains for these components, especially strengthen the expertise here in Germany. The issue is that these plants aren't slated to be at the cutting edge of semiconductor technology. While they're at sufficient sophistication for some of the car parts mentioned, the chips coming out of the new Dresden plant won't be fit for current phones or laptops, with some experts warning that TSMC will retain the cutting edge technology in Taiwan while getting a heavily subsidized workbench here in Germany for its older tech.
Mattis, thanks again. Welcome back. Somalia has issued a warning to suspend all Ethiopian Airlines flights to its territory due to an ongoing territorial dispute. The Somali Civil Aviation Authority says the airline has failed to respond to concerns related to Somali sovereignty. Ethiopian Airlines has been given a deadline of Friday to address these issues, All flights to Somalia will be suspended. The dispute escalated after Ethiopia signed an agreement in January 2024 with the separatist region of Somaliland, securing access to 20 kilometers of Somaliland's coastline for 50 years in exchange for recognizing the territory. Somalia views this deal as a direct violation of its sovereignty, heightening tensions between the two countries. The UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, says it's working with the government of South Sudan and partners to transport refugees to existing camps in the country. In May last year, refugees were relocated to Mabon County, about 300 kilometers to the southeast. Here, refugees have access to services such as healthcare, schools, psychosocial support, and food rations. Among other services, families are also allocated a plot of land with improved houses. 10 million people have been forcibly displaced since Sudan's newest conflict began. Of these, around 2 million have sought refuge in neighboring countries, including South Sudan, which is already reeling from the impacts of climate change, food insecurity, and intercommunal conflict.
UNHCR, through our implementing partners, have constructed a number of temporary shelters where refugees are now settled in, and most of the refugees who have the capacity, in the meantime, you'll find some of them are modifying shelters to the standard that they feel is okay with them. And within the camp settlement, we have different services that are being provided by different humanitarian agencies on different semantic areas. For example, we have health services that are available. We also have education.
Kenya has ramped up health and surveillance measures at its borders at the Malabar checkpoint along the Kenya-Uganda border. This is in response to the growing Mpox threat across Africa, following the World Health Organization's declaration of a global health emergency. Health workers are enforcing rigorous new protocols such as mandatory hand washing and temperature checks for all travelers at the border. Port Health Officer Paul Kiwi says that they have heightened alertness levels to be able to find and isolate travelers with high temperatures coming from neighboring countries, especially the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is the epicenter.
Our alertness levels we have heightened so that we are able to capture all travelers coming from our neighboring countries, up to even those who are coming from DRC, Congo, which is actually a place where this disease has really affected many people. Who have raised temperature, we will be able to isolate for further questioning or more information to see the history of travel and so on, what other signs and symptoms could be that case is presenting. So in case again we find that someone has signs and symptoms that we've been given, then we are able to call a clinician from our health facility, that is Kocholia Hospital, to come and do further examination.
Elderly ladies in the Johannesburg suburb of Cosmo City have been honing their boxing skills. South Africa grannies attend a bi-weekly training session organized by former South Africa bodybuilder Claude Maposa. The grannies do pad and bag work as well as exercise drills as coaches assist the women with their training. Volunteer coach Mtuzi Maposa, whose father founded the initiative, said that the Boxing Grannies program began in 2013 to improve access to healthy activities for elderly women. He adds that the training is free for all participants, with donations from young people supporting the initiative. Participants are in their 60s and 70s, with the oldest boxer being 86 years old. The grannies attend the 2-hour boxing training sessions twice a week on Tuesdays and on Thursdays.
From 60 going up, that's where we normally don't even charge anything to others. But the young ones come and donate. Any donation we take, but the grannies will train them for free twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some of them came with arthritis, high blood pressure, you name all these diseases or illnesses that caught in yourself in your later stage. But our results are very, very stunning, if I can say, because some of them are no longer in medication, of which this benefits cardio, which is heart cardiovascular. It also benefits bones. It also benefits mental health.
I came here for so long because it's healthy. And before I had a terrible high blood pressure. Now my high blood pressure is okay. I get tired, not really, because I used to gym 2 days a week. That's why I come here twice a week.
I train the Gogos. I'm a volunteer here at the gym. I would say training the Gogos is very, it is quite fulfilling, if I do say so. And it has taught me a lot because it's taught me patience.
And let's cross now to China to meet a stylish dog, Zhu Tiegang. The Doberman, known for his impeccable human-like fashion sense, has captured the attention of social media users in China. The dog can be seen dressed in a suit and other costumes. According to the dog's owner, the Doberman wardrobe is mostly made up of human clothes and dog clothes as well. She also noted the dog has a strong physique with a pair of big chest muscles and a narrow waist, making his clothes very good-looking. Making him very good looking among dogs. The owner first started dressing up her 2-year-old Doberman to keep him warm around air conditioning. Stunned by how human-like her dog looked, she decided to share a picture with the internet. Since then, the dog has gathered lots of fans and followers who love to see his stylish outfits.
Go.
And finally, on the program, a volcanic eruption has occurred in Iceland for the 6th time in 8 months. The red-hot lava spewed into the air, illuminating the night sky in the region of Kiranes near the town of Grindavik. According to authorities, the latest eruption began on Thursday evening following a series of strong earthquakes. Road closures and increased safety measures are expected as emergency workers respond to the ongoing eruption. Although there have been evacuations, authorities continue to reassure the public that the latest eruption poses no immediate threat to local residents. Some residents couldn't help but enjoy the view of the lava. Another chance to see the fashionistic dog yet again. Well, that's it on our program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Rogers.